We'll never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race.
Donald Trump is losing every single poll on every single issue. And instead of changing anything, instead of changing his policies and his image, anything, he's trying to change the voters. We've already talked about how the SAVE Act is going to require 21 million Americans to produce documents that they don't have just to register to vote. And you're going to have to re-register to vote. And of course, Donald Trump said the quiet part out loud. If it passes, Republicans will never lose a race for 50 years. That's a confession, folks. And I've covered all of these bad polling numbers, but these are starting to get out of this world bad. NBC News dropped a new poll. 62% of Americans disapprove of how Trump is handling inflation. 62. 48% say his policies have hurt our economy. 55% saying the tariffs are making things worse, the tariffs that were ruled to be illegal. Only 27% say their financial situation is improving. 38% say it's gotten worse. The polls on Iran, they show that 60% disapprove of the military strikes. Just 38% support them. For reference, 38% is lower than the retrospective support for the Iraq War in 2014. That's after we knew there was no WMDs. After all of the torture videos came out. After everything, lower than 2014. His overall approval rating, 40%. And I want to stop for a second. That still means 40% of this country approve of that asshole? 40%? When he said that he could stand out there and shoot someone and still get away with it, that's the 40%. Anyway, his disapproval, 58%. And the people who decide elections, the independents, only 27% of them approve of him, 63% disapproving. That's going to be a huge number come November. 27%. A structural collapse of what Trump's populist policies are supposed to be doing for him. So what do you do when 60+% of the country doesn't want what you're selling? If you're a normal politician, you adjust, you change your message. You get out there, you try to explain why you think you have the best vision for America. Instead, these people try to rig an election. We've already covered how the Save America Act passed the House back in February, 218 to 213. Every Republican plus one Democrat, who's already been renamed in my mind as that Democrat, they voted for this crap. And here's what it does. You've got to show up in person. You have to have a passport or birth certificate to register to vote. Strict photo IDs at the polls. Student IDs can't count. Real IDs don't count unless they say where you're born. Universal mail-in balloting ends in 8 states and DC. The election officials, they're going to face criminal penalties if they register someone without the required documents. Absolutely insane. The Brennan Center estimates that 21 million Americans don't have access to the documents that are required under law if this passes. 21 million people that would have every legal right to vote. They just don't happen to have their passport or a birth certificate sitting there in their junk drawer. And Trump explained his goal here. I mean, he's telling you all of this out loud. If it becomes law, Republicans will never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race. He said this out loud in front of people.
I'll tell you what, Republicans have to win this one. We'll never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. And we don't want mail-in ballots except for the military far away, except for people that are ill, disabled, or people that are away. Even for a vacation, we'll be generous, okay? Other than that, we don't want mail-in ballots because mail-in ballots say cheat.
And Steve Bannon, because of course we've got to keep covering that insane troll, we're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. That's it. I mean, I wish I could have a joke here. I wish I could have something that was funny to say, some quip. It's not there. ICE surrounding the polls, disenfranchising millions of voters, it is a threat. It is a threat to our democracy. I don't have any quips for that. You know, look, the bill needs 60 Senate votes to survive a filibuster. We've already got the Texas race threatening to change, or saying that he'll drop out if the filibuster ends. Thune says they're not even close. The corrupt poly market, which you can get some good predictive models out of, it gives it a 14% chance of becoming law. So it probably dies in the Senate, thankfully. But Trump's saying this loudly in public. He's telling you that the point is that they don't have elections anymore. Bannon told you that he's going to use Trump's secret ICE army to enforce it. They're putting it out in public. They're putting it out there for all of us to see. And it's clear, Donald Trump is losing. He's losing in the market of ideas. He's losing public opinion. And so what do? You rig the game. That's his entire plan, and it has been from the beginning.
They called it closed, filed away, forgotten. But some truths don't stay buried. Time doesn't erase guilt. A reckoning is always just around the corner. A death in Arcadia. Justice has a long memory.